This particular passage here on the screen was followed by questions 73, 74, 75 and 76. We are going to go through each one of them one by one. The passage though was about silence or complete silence, and how in nature this is somewhat of a limit possibility or limited possibility, we can say. The only two examples being given in the passage were outer space, where there is absolute silence, which also the passage said that that kind of silence is only technical. Another example was death, where absolute silence prevails, right? Now the question here, the first question, which is question number 73, the one we are looking at, wants to know, what does the author imply by stating that silence of space is a kind of limit possibility? If you refer back to the first paragraph over here, the first paragraph talks about this kind of silence. It says that everyone knows that outer space, to be sure, is silent, but this silence is only technical. Why is it technical? Since it says that it is a kind of a limit possibility and is an absolute in the way that death is an absolute. So it says that it's a limit possibility. Why is it a limit possibility? That is exactly what we are trying to find out. Let's see the options to find out what is the answer to that question. Now A can be eliminated, since it says that the concept of silence of space is very restricted in nature. This point about the concept being restricted, this is not mentioned in the paragraph. The paragraph just mentions two examples of complete silence or silence in space. Now we cannot say that this is restricted or that there are no other examples. The only ones mentioned in the paragraph are the ones that we read out right now, so we cannot take answer option A to be the correct answer. Now option B says the occurrence of space silence is less in everyday life because of the constant sound of other things. This option has no relation to what we are being asked here. We are the point here of the question is, why is the silence of space a kind of limit possibility? What does that particular sentence imply? This option has no relevance to what is being asked, so we can eliminate that option safely. We come up to C, which is people, the answer to this particular question. It says the silence of space is only technical and is an absolute like death. This is the answer of why he says that it's a limit possibility. He says that it's limited, as we read in the paragraph itself. Let me point it back. Let me take you back to that particular part in the paragraph. Here it is. It says that this silence is only technical and it is absolute in a way that death is absolute. That is exactly the reason, or that is exactly what he's trying to imply by saying that it's kind of a limit possibility. It's only limited. That's exactly what he's trying to say here. Now option D again cannot be the answer, since again it has no relation to what the question is trying to ask you. If you were to read this option, which says the space is presented as a busy, bustling place with activity, bustling with activity, we know for sure that this is an unrelated point to the question, and that's how we come up with option C as the answer to question number 73. Question number 74 wants to know, what does the author imply by comparing silence with the space of Descartes and Newton? Now if you go back in the passage to paragraph number 4, let's bring you up here to that particular place in the passage. It's over here, see, and I can mark this particular paragraph for you, where he alright, it's here. I found it finally. It says silence, however, is a corollary of absolute space of pure uninterrupted extension, the space of Descartes and Newton amongst others. And it says, or space uninflected. This is what is important for us, this particular phrase here. It says the happy medium for grids of all kinds. Now what the author does is he compares silence, as the question says, to the silence of Descartes and Newton, or the space of Descartes and Newton. Why does he do that? This phrase provides the answer. He says, or space uninflicted. So this fourth sentence in the second paragraph, of the passage, the author gives a hint regarding the real space of Descartes and Newton, which was uninflicted. The word uninflicted here means unaltered. So this is exactly what he's trying to say. This is why he compares the silence. He says that silence is a corollary of absolute space, and this kind of space was the same space as of Descartes and Newton, because it was uninflicted, it was unaltered, it was unchanged. I'm hoping you have the reasoning now. Let's go back to choosing from the options. This is the question here. Why does the author imply, what does the author imply by comparing silence with the space of Descartes and Newton? The correct answer option, as I'm sure you will have pointed out by now, is option D. It says the author makes an indirect reference to the unaltered original space that was referred to by Descartes and Newton. This is exactly what we are trying to look for. This is what the paragraph, in the second paragraph, the fourth line, the fourth sentence was talking about, and that's why this is the answer. When it comes to eliminating the other options, option A is irrelevant, I should say, because in the given question the author has not mentioned cosmic space. See, it's mentioned here in the option, in option A. That is why we cannot take this to be the answer. Option B is again out of context, because localization of noise is something that we are not talking of in relation to the given question. It is not our focus for the question. Option C is the incorrect option, because the author has nowhere given details of Descartes and Newton's theories in the passage. He does not mention the relevance of or state the relevance of their theories with respect to space. All he's doing is he's making an indirect reference by trying to say that silence, or complete silence, absolute silence, is the same as the original space that was referred to by Descartes and Newton, since it is unaltered, it is unchanged, in the same way that space which was mentioned by them was also unchanged. So finally, as we know now, the answer for question number 74 is option D. The answer to question number 75 is option A, which says vitality cannot be expressed through silence. How do we come up to this answer, since the question says that the above passage does not imply that? So how can this not be implied from the passage? I want to take you back to that part in the passage where it talks of Rauschenberg and his paintings. It's over here. Rauschenberg had presented in the early 50s a series of monochrome paintings. That's what he says, the passage says. And specifically, it has been stated here, as I can show you, that it is stated that the apparent emptiness in these paintings, it's over here, the apparent emptiness reveals an active vitality. See, so there is vitality, or there is active vitality apparent there in the emptiness, and that is how we cannot say that from the question, from the option, that vitality cannot be expressed through silence. Rauschenberg's paintings show that even though there is silence in them, there is active vitality, and that is how we cannot infer or imply this particular option from the passage. All the other options are right there, are mentioned in the passage, they can be implied. That is why the answer for question number 75 is option A.